Here's one of the very first landmark cases involving the Second Amendment decided by the U.S. Supreme Court. And it's a case called U.S. v. Miller, and it was decided in 1939. Interesting backstory here. This has to do with the fallout after the very famous Valentine's Day massacre that occurred involving our organized crime situation in Al Capone. So we have a defendant who was charged with transporting a sawed-off double-barrel 12-gauge shotgun into interstate commerce. This was a violation of the National Firearms Act of 1934. So Mr. Miller was charged with violating this act. Now, he appealed, saying that this was his Second Amendment right. Prior to this case, when the Second Amendment hit the U.S. Supreme Court, it was all about the militias and the scope of a militia. It did not have anything to do with individual possession of firearms until this case. So the U.S. Supreme Court decided unanimously in this case that the Second Amendment does not protect an individual's right to possess this particular kind of gun. Now, their reasoning on this was very interesting, and they held that because this type of gun does not have a reasonable relationship to the preservation or efficiency of a well-regulated militia, it was therefore not covered by the Second Amendment. Now, as time went on, we did have multiple other cases that came back in until the very famous McDonald's case in 2010 that actually incorporated the Second Amendment to the states. But this was the very first landmark case where the U.S. Supreme Court dealt with the issue of what kind of arms are covered under the Second Amendment.